Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. So this one is going to be my second ever vanity talk. I'm going to try to keep it a lot more chill, but I just really wanted to chat while I get ready, and I'll start doing it now, about some things that I've found myself thinking about lately. I don't have any specific topics, so I'm kind of going to be rambling, but just to jump right in, like the main thing I was thinking about, especially last night, was how social media, I think, is making the average person hate themselves. And I say that only because I remember it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was just scrolling on Instagram, doing what I do, and I was looking at this girl's page, and her life just looked amazing to me. And I was like, wow, she's always traveling. Wow, she has her little family. Wow, she's so young. She has it all together. And for a split second, I was like, how is this even possible? Like, thinking about my own life, like, how are you traveling so much? How are you affording to travel so much? How do you take care of all these children? How do you keep your relationship so healthy? Whatever. And then I came to the realization, I don't know what this girl's life is, so why am I comparing mine to hers, It was just really so eye-opening because that was the first time I've actively caught myself comparing my life to somebody else's. And I know that I probably do it all the time, a lot more. But catching myself in the act, I'm like, you are bugging out right now. How can you think her life is better? You don't know what her real situation is. And not to say her life isn't that great as she portrays it to be, but there's a possibility that it's not. So me thinking, oh, I wish my life was like that, or whatever the case may be, is actually really concerning and crazy. But this is the first time that I've seen myself do it, and the first step of anything, of any real change, I think, is acceptance and acknowledgement. The saying, comparison is the thief of happiness or thief of joy, is so true, because the minute that you're going on talking about, I wish my life was like that, how is their life so perfect, you're robbing yourself of appreciating and acknowledging your life for what it is. Because you're never going to have that other person's life. You're never going to be them. So you might as well be happy in what you have and what your current situation is and who you are, That's the thing about social media. It makes you compare yourself consciously or subconsciously all the time. What you're comparing is your real life, which comes with highs, of course, but also lows, and you know your lows, to people's curated false life online, which is the high of their highs, the highlighted moments, the best smiling, the happy, the laughing, all of those. Nobody's going to post when they're, going through things, or nobody's going to post like their financial hardships or whatever they're experiencing. So it just goes to show, like, me thinking about that girl yesterday, her life could be, and I'm sure it is, grand and whatever, but I don't see the lows of having so many children. Not to say that there are, but I'm saying I don't see her waking up at 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning to crying babies, I don't see how she makes money to afford these trips. I don't see any of that. All I see is her smiling on Instagram, drinking her drink, looking like she's having a grand time. And I don't know the reality of her life, so I have no right to compare mine to hers, But really, in the same breath, I want to acknowledge that I'm actively participating in this life too. Everybody who's on social media does, of course, because I post my best moments. I'm sure somebody can go on my page and think, wow, her life is so perfect, which would be funny because I know that my life isn't. But based on what I choose to share and the moments that I do, I can see how somebody would think that my life is perfect. And that just goes to show that my social media is not a good representation of my life. But that's what we do. We make this curated online world. I think we make the life that we really want, but don't necessarily have. And truthfully, I have no answers to how to fix it. The only one really would be to get off social media, but then if you're not on social media, you're missing out on everything, or so it seems. But how do we make our social medias, is the question, more real, like more of a representation of our lives without putting the terrible things that go on in our lives out there? I don't know. I don't think it's possible. So that's really the one part of what I've been thinking about lately. The second part is feeling like time is running out, which is nuts to me because I'm 22. Like earlier last week, I started my first real job. And in the midst of it all, I feel like I'm behind in life. I don't know why. I feel like I'm running out of time to be successful or to do all the things that I want to do, and then I need to get it together like ASAP. But just thinking about how young I am in retrospect, how am I running out of time? Time really, the clock just started for me. But again, it goes into comparison. You see other people doing all these great things, so you feel like, damn, I'm really not doing nothing. You'll really see on Twitter everybody retweeting those amazing stories of someone being like, I'm 19 years old and I just got my first house. And you're feeling like, damn, how are people doing these things? And what am I not doing? Meanwhile, this 19-year-old bought a house, and here I am in my parents' house, still in my old room that I've grown up in my whole life. It's like, you feel as though you're running out of time and that you need to start getting a move on all these amazing things that other people are doing also that make them seem successful because you also want to be successful, whatever that means. So along with realizing that comparison is the thief of joy, I'm realizing there's no timeline on your life and there's no like set way of how you're going to accomplish all the things you are. We think that we know what we're going to do and how we're going to do it, but that's not how life works. That's not how God's plan usually is. And you just gotta roll with it. So because my life and my timeline is not in the same place or aligned with somebody my age, younger, older, doesn't really matter because we're all gonna get to where we're going and where we're supposed to be, how we are supposed to. What is meant for you is for you, and what's meant for them is for them, and that's just what it is and what we need to accept. Because we all say it, but do we really accept it at night when you're thinking, oh, I'm not where I want to be in life, or I'm not doing enough? That's when you need to remind yourself that you will get to where you're going eventually. But that's not to say that you just go through life like, oh, it's just going to come when it does. You actively do have to work towards it, but I'm done with feeling like I'm not going to be something because I don't have everything right now. So I don't know why the vibe of this whole video, all the topics have been so negative. I'm truthfully feeling like the best that I have in a while, but I still want to talk about these things that I've been thinking about. So the last topic I think I'll speak on today is depression. And I really just want to like talk about just how real depression is and how when I'm depressed, it might not look like yours, because I feel like there's like a stereotype of the person in the dark hoodie, in the dark, always sleeping, and that's what a depressed person is. But news flash, I feel like we all go through sprouts of depression, whether you're clinically diagnosed or not. And to like almost not acknowledge one person's because it doesn't look like what you think is kind of effed up. Personally, I feel like in life, I'm the type of person that everyone thinks is like always so happy and everything's grand for. And I don't necessarily like to keep people thinking that about me. But because they already do, I feel like I have to. I feel like I have to play this part where my life is so great and I'm so happy. But truthfully, that is exhausting. And when I go home at the end of the night, I feel like crap. But since people think that I'm like this really positive person and nothing bad ever happens to me, I don't know, I feel like I can't talk to anybody about it because they wouldn't believe it. Like the very few people that I have tried to express how I feel to, I feel like they just never get it, or they never got it. And it's too much to try to explain to too many different people, so I bottle it in. And I go through these sprouts where I just feel like I can't talk to anybody about what I'm experiencing. But at the same time, I feel like I don't even have the right to say that I'm depressed because comparatively, my life is not that bad. And that's the issue. Just because I don't have the same problems as somebody else doesn't mean that the feelings that I'm experiencing are invalid, you know? And you can't compare your pain to somebody else's, and I feel like we all do that. Or sometimes we put it on other people, like, you can't feel like that, you're so blessed, or whatever. And it's all just messed up because all our feelings are valid. They're trying to tell me that I shouldn't feel like that, or even worse, that I can't feel like that because of my life. is just what makes me and people like me not want to talk about our feelings to anybody. Truthfully, we need a better system of allowing people to express how they feel. For me, I'll give myself advice. I'll say that I just need to find more people that validate how I feel and allow me to feel the way that I'm feeling. This life, man, this life is crazy. And there's so many growing pains that come with it. But I'm just trying to accept them for what they are. I know it's all happening for a greater purpose and that it's going to teach me a bigger thing in life. But when you're going through it, whoo, child, it is not fun. Yeah, so I feel like we talked about a lot today, and as much as I hope somebody feels what I'm saying and can relate to what I'm saying, I can't lie, these kind of videos are also like super therapeutic for me to make too. And it's just like a really big venting session for me. What am I forgetting? Gloss. I definitely want to take the time to thank you guys for watching though. I really do appreciate it. If you have any comments on things that we discussed today, put them down below. I'd love to further the conversation. And yeah, until next time, guys.